Hi, Year 7. This is Mrs. Pease. It's Mastery Monday. You are meant to be seeing my face today, a little recording in the corner, but unfortunately I dropped and smashed my laptop. So it's in for repair and I'm using a slightly different system. So you will get to see my wonderful face in after half term. So the structure for Mastery Monday will be exactly the same as if you were in college. You're going to do your longer term retrieval tasks, which helps with your recall, but also, as we've talked about before, the synapses firing up and making connections. You can't learn something once, move on and remember everything. That would be impossible. So this is about you making those connections and keeping them there long term. And we're trying to get you to recall things that we think you will need across the college year and potentially across the entire part of your life. And then you'll do some writing tasks that help you to master specific writing skills. So in terms of Mastery Monday, I thought I'd keep it to what you've done today. So first of all, write a list of what you've done so far today. It can be generalised, today I blah, blah, blah. Or if you haven't done much today, because, you might not have yet, it could be I have opened my computer, da 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 da, okay? And then using speech marks, write down the last thing you said to someone. I'm trying to think of the last thing I said. It was probably to Mr. Pease. I'm going to record those lessons now. So I'd write that down as open speech mark. I'm going to record my lessons now. Exclamation mark, close speech marks, Mrs. P said. Okay, so write down something you said to someone. If you can't remember, you can obviously make it up. Finish and punctuate the sentence. After breakfast. What did you do after breakfast? Perhaps you haven't had breakfast. You can make it up. Previous learning. Which suffix can accurately be attached to the verb accomplish to create a noun? Fol meant is ness. 3 generations make up the Greek creation myth. The creators, the titans, and the... What is an illusion? You probably want to pause here and make some notes. Great. Now you have vocabulary. 3 words that you've seen before. You should know what they mean, but if you don't, remember. Don't worry. Keep those synapses firing. Keep making connections and you'll get there. Didactic, insidious, malignant. Pause the video. Have a go at those and see how you do. You're doing a really good job with all of this. Give yourself 5 minutes. Pause, go. Okay, answers. For the ones on the left side, I have not, obviously they're examples. So for a list, I have eaten an apple, banana and toast. Using speech marks, open speech marks, hello, question mark, I said. That's probably my Amazon delivery coming. And then finish and punctuate the sentence. After breakfast, because you've got that subordinated to start. After breakfast, I brushed my brilliant white gnashers. Previous learning, accomplishment. The 3 generations that make up the Greek creation myth are the creators, the titans, and the Olympians. An allusion is making a link between your ideas and a person or story from Greek mythology. You will use this a lot in your English writing career and perhaps even throughout life. For example, if you look at Matt Hancock, he was saying the other day, a while ago now, it's going to be a Herculean effort to get enough PPE for all the NHS staff. He used that himself in his speech for people to understand the idea. It was going to take a huge effort for everybody to be equipped. Didactic, intending to teach. A lot of poetry and a lot of things we read are didactic. Insidious, proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, but with very harmful effects. Malignant, evil in nature or effect. Remember, we've drawn a lot of icons for those. So if you're still struggling, maybe go back, create yourself an icon, see if that helps make connections between your brain, visual, and the written process. Okay, so we're still on grammar because this is Mastery Monday. There are many different types of subordinate clauses. We have met some of them already. When it happened, where it happened, sentences that begin with if, although, or unless. Each of these has a technical name. The name for when it happened is the temporal clause. Temporal means time. Temporal clauses about when it happened. Read it through if you need to read it through again. Temporal clauses are about when it happened. When the temporal clause comes after the independent clause, it doesn't need a comma. When did Mary lift the box? As Jamie lowered the rope. Mary lifted the box as Jamie lowered the rope. The part in red, this is an independent clause. It has a subject, Mary, and a main verb, lifted. It makes sense on its own. But the part in blue or purple, I always get told I can't recognise different colours specifically, but the part in blue or purple, this is a temporal clause. Clause. It doesn't make sense on its own, but it still has a verb and a subject. It gives more information about when Mary lifted the box. She lifted the box as Jamie lowered the rope. So, you need to underline the independent clause and circle the temporal clause. Temporal clause, yeah, as Jamie lowered the rope, doesn't make sense by itself, as Jamie lowered the rope. So have a look at this sentence. While Sabine drove, Katie navigated. Which is the part that makes sense by itself? Which is the part that provides more information? Have a think. If I was looking at it, I would think, to me, Katie navigated makes sense by itself, so it must be the independent clause. And this one gives us more information about when it happened while Sabine drove. You decide, but I would suggest that this, Katie navigated, is the independent clause. You have two more sentences to have a go at. Whenever his mum wasn't looking, Callum rode his bike too fast. Callum. Angela explained what had happened before Stephanie could interrupt. That one I think is more complex because it's not marked out by a comma. But pause the video, have a go. Can you underline the independent clause and can you circle the temporal clause? Here are your answers. Katie navigated, Callum rode his bike too fast, and Angela explained what had happened. They are all your independent clauses. You can read them separately. They make sense by themselves. Okay, now you have to punctuate these sentences correctly. And having read an awful lot of these extracts back, we get sent your lovely paragraphs weekly. And obviously I've read an awful lot. And the exercises that people do first, they're brilliant at. You can totally look at a sentence and identify where the punctuation needs to go. But what is interesting is that once you start writing your entire paragraphs, those thoughts dissipate a little bit. So if you had written these sentences by yourself, if I then go back to you and say, look at sentence 1, you can put your punctuation in. So what's really important is you do this religiously, as if it's me setting it out to you as it's an exercise. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Read back through your paragraph as if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and add in your punctuation. Double check it's there. But anyway, I've said you're really good at this. Prove me right, thank you. Take your pens, pick them up, write those sentences down. Pause the video. Now I would like you to add in your punctuation. Whenever Daisy looked through the window, she always saw things that she wanted to buy. That makes me kind of laugh at the moment. I think, what window is Daisy looking through? Where is Daisy? Anyway, 2, Kaylee twisted the dial on the machine before Michaela could reach it. 3, as Holmes and Watson investigated the case, more clues were revealed. And 4, Brenda said, before I go to the shops, I need to get some petrol. Pause the video, have a go at punctuating those sentences. I know you can do it. Okay, so obviously all of this is going back through things that you've learned previously. Whenever Daisy looked through the window, that's your subordinate clause, so you've got a comma there. She always saw things she wanted to buy, full stop. Kaylee twisted the dial on the machine before Michaela could reach it, full stop. Obviously your independent clause starts the sentence, so you don't need to use a comma. As Holmes and Watson investigated the case, comma, more clues were revealed. If you've never heard of Holmes and Watson, you can actually read a lot of their stories online. There are a lot of Sherlock Holmes cases online, and they're a really good read. Brenda said, comma, before I go to the shop, comma, I need to get some petrol. So that one was probably the trickiest of all, because not only did you have to do your speech punctuation, but you also had to punctuate your clauses there. Okay, so I appreciate that people quite often say that the first part takes them close to their sort of 45 minutes. But we do really appreciate reading an extended paragraph from you, because it gives us a lot of understanding of how well you're doing with not just your punctuation, but other areas of your English. So please do give this a go if you're not at your sort of 45, 50 minutes. So we've looked at problem-solved love stories. We've looked at the opening. The boy and girl meet for the first time. It's obvious that they will fall in love. We've read your problems. The girl faces a problem, e.g. the girl already had a boyfriend. Really enjoyed reading that second paragraph. People obviously understood the conventions and fully were able to employ a range of scenarios they'd either read or seen in movies, and people made it believable and interesting, and it was really nice to read those. So now you're on to the solution, which is kind of the nice bit, right? They're going to overcome their problems. So the couple overcome the problem, e.g. the boy proves he is a better match for her. What is your solution going to be? I know there were lots of different problems that we read about, so it'll be interesting to find out, how do they overcome those problems? So we've got loads of examples here. You can obviously pause and read. You don't need me to read it to you. But the boy's parents disapprove of the girl as she comes from the wrong family. Very Romeo and Juliet-esque there. The girl arranges a dinner for both families to bring them together. The couple are separated by war. The couple write to each other until the war ends. The boy already has a girlfriend. The girl shows the boy she's a much better match. Sarah hurts Ivy's feeling badly. Sarah apologizes and makes Ivy a special gift. Lots of different ways that you can make your couple overcome a problem. So you have to write the solution paragraph of your story. I can't say too much on it because obviously you've already designated where your story is going, but you can use the words from the vocabulary box if you like. Specialty, dejected, hope, pastry, skilled, inseparable, sublime, romantic. Mastery checks. I've written consistently in the past simple tense. I've not used any fragments, so that's where you're not using, parts of the sentence that aren't independent and make a complete idea. And I have included a temporal clause at the start of the sentence and end. I've included a temporal clause at the start of the sentence and at the end of the sentence. Oh, right. So sorry.